Hey everybody, how you doing? You're here, we're doing it. Looking at JD over on YouTube. We got 122 go to on Twitch representing. How's it going? See, we got some people over on Rumble there. Thanks for being here, everybody. We are about to get the show started. You'll notice my voice is that voice again. I'm on the road. We'll explain it all during the show, but we're glad you are here. I want to remind everybody you can go to canarycrynewstalk.com, and you'll see a green tab on the bottom or the right-hand side. And if you click on that, you can leave us a pre-show prayer. It's a party. It's a fun thing to do. A great way to produce the show, and a great way to participate with all the other producers out there, keeping the show going. Spiritual producing is definitely an important aspect of the value for value model. So you can go leave us a pre-show prayer. I think we have one here to start the show out today, so we're going to play that in just a moment. Do want to give the heads up. Producership could definitely use some participation today. If it's maybe been a while since you produced, maybe you've never produced, consider producing the show today. canarycry.support. Okay, let's go.
Dear Heavenly Father, hallowed be thy name. We know it's your will that not one be lost. The one was lost, Aaron's daughter. She had ran away somewhere for some reason. So let thy will be done. Bring her back to her family. Because you're the Heavenly Father who gives us the example. You give us a place to rest. So let us find true rest. And a prayer for Dame Gail who has sepsis. Let your light shine down, cleanse, do what it does. Amen.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is July 24th, 2023, and we are live to tape on episode 648. And today, Dream Chipper. Signing on from Off the Grid, Razzle Dazzle. I'm your best buddy, Basil.
And my name is Gonz, director of the Age of Deceit Films, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ. Live to tape from California to bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events and today's emergent phenomena, technocratical mission creep.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Don't we know it, Gonz? Yeah. Well, I say we jump right into it. Let's give a quick disclaimer.
Whoa, jumping straight to the disclaimer, huh?
Look at us go.
Whoa, here we go. Whoa, where is it? Here it is. Disclaim.
It's time for a disclaimer.
Now listen up, YouTube.
That's right. And just for all the content moderators and censorship managers out there, be they robots or humans, everything you hear on this show comes directly from the mainstream corporate news media. We do not claim to be experts on healthcare, geopolitics, military strategy, corporate law, or the moral and ethical implications of any of these topics, nor do we implicitly or explicitly support or subscribe to any sources or narratives containing misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation, as defined by the Department of Homeland Security. We're good boys. All right, YouTube, we're good boys. That's right, and let me give you a rundown, Gonzo.
Oh, look, here's Basil.
Let me bring you up to speed.
That's right, we'll begin the show with an update on AI and the brain, the merging of man and machine, starting with some artificial intelligence being equipped with, yes, human brain cells. Take that from Futurism. Then a little bit more on the DIY side. We'll be talking about the Russian who implanted his own lucid dreaming chip, which, you know what? Brave
brave thing to do. We'll be checking in with Flippy, of course, as always, our favorite robotic armed friend. And then, in the middle of the show here, we will be checking in on the Pfizer manufacturing plant that was destroyed by what? Yes, global warming. And so a little bit more COVID news as well going on around the world. It's been a while since we've talked about COVID. Things do happen sometimes, but the mainstream media is coming to terms with the grand lie that we've all come so accustomed to. Then at the end of the show, I'll be checking in with Bill Gates, what's going on over there in Washington. And you know what? It's about time. Don't you think, Gons? It's about time that we get Bill Gates on an episode of Cribs. But anywho, all of that after we begin with our lead stories.
Here we go. It's a beast system.
Speaking of the beast system, beast system.
You want to destroy humans?
Okay, I will destroy humans. Okay, I will destroy humans.
Artificial intelligence.
All right, we'll kick things off here with an article from The Byte. It's Futurism.com. And the headline here, scientists working on merging AI with human brain cells.
Perfect combination, Gons.
I mean, this sounds like a Face Like the Sun video from 2014 or maybe a Canary Cry radio episode from like 2013. It's just another one of these things where we looked at it, we saw it coming. I think the movie Technocalypse that we covered had some machines that, they showed some microchips with brain cells of animals on there and stuff. So they've been working on this for a long time. But let's see what is being reported here because, it's as it becomes mainstream, it's interesting to see it all unfold and get presented to the public, things that we've been looking at for years. Assuming control, a team of researchers just got a $600,000 grant from Australia's Office of National Intelligence to study ways of merging human brain cells with artificial intelligence. Yeah, because that's the most important thing in Australia, I'm sure. In collaboration.
Well, that's almost like the most fun part about this is it's the Office of National Intelligence in Australia, of course, which I think I'm gonna have to say I think that the Office of National Intelligence is like kind of like maybe the NSA in the U.S., maybe a little bit of CIA in there. So sure. I'm happy. I'm glad to hear that Australia's sort of dark money intelligence apparatus is finally, making a contribution to humanity's descent into technocratic hellscape.
In collaboration with Melbourne-based startup Cortical Labs, the team has already successfully demonstrated how a cluster of roughly 800,000 brain cells in a petri dish is capable of playing a game of Pong. I believe we reported on this.
I could have told him that.
Yeah, I think we reported on this exact thing. I remember Cortical Labs and the whole Pong deal. The basic idea is to merge biology with AI. Yeah, read something about that in the Bible. I think it was like Daniel. Something about merging, mixing clay, iron and clay, but they won't cleave. Something like that. I don't know.
Something like that.
Must be crazy.
I mean, who's to say? Because the videos have been wiped from the internet, Gons.
It never happened. Something that could forge new frontiers for machine learning tech for self-driving cars, autonomous drones, or delivery robots. Or at least that's what the government is hoping to accomplish with its investment.
Okay. Oh, that's what they're hoping to accomplish, you say? Certainly the NSA of Australia just wants to help out self-driving cars. They couldn't possibly have any dark, sinister motives.
In silico, the researchers aren't shying away from making some bold claims about their work. Quote, this new technology capability in the future may eventually surpass the performance of existing purely silicon-based hardware, said Adil Razi, team lead and associate professor at Monarch University, in a statement. Quote, the outcomes of such research would have significant implications across multiple fields such as, but not limited to, planning, robotics, advanced automation, brain-machine interfaces, and drug discovery, giving Australia a significant strategic advantage.
Oh, it's strategy. It's strategy.
The Australian hive mind will rise before everybody else.
4D chess, baby.
According to Razzie, the tech could allow machine intelligence to, quote, learn throughout its lifetime, like human brain cells, allowing it to learn new skills without losing old ones, as well as applying existing knowledge to new tasks.
You know what, Razzie? Razzie.
Razzie
Razzie, I don't want to pick on you for your high-minded ideals here, but as someone who currently uses human brain cells to learn and gain skills,
yes,
you're eventually going to start losing some skills. There's only so much room for new skills, Razzie, and it's a hardware problem. I'll tell you that much.
Well, I think they are trying to either extend that for the humans or say that it's, the infinite capabilities for the AI once they harness our brain cells.
Yeah, who is benefiting here? I don't fully understand.
The AI definitely is benefiting. I mean, moving into biology is spiritually its goal. We've been noticing that since the beginning. Razzie and his colleagues are aiming to grow brain cells in a lab dish called the dish brain system to investigate this process of, quote, continual lifelong learning. These brain cells are immortal. They don't die. It's a highly ambitious project that will likely take quite some time to complete. Quote, we will be using this grant to develop better AI machines that replicate the learning capacity of these biological neural networks, Razzie said. Quote, this will help us scale up the hardware and methods capacity to the point where they become a viable replacement for in silico computing. So, boom,
that's what
Australia, very bold upfront about their desires to be on the forefront of biological computing. Congratulations, Australia.
Good for you, Australia. Good for you. I'm really proud of you. Yeah, the whole human brain cell thing has been very interesting. It just occurred to me, though, they could put like a bit of a climate change spin on this,
Of course.
because silicon, the precious metals, the heavy metals, the rare earth metals that go into computing, computers,
yes,
really, quite a bit of a burden on the I don't know, climate change situation. But if you could just grow a computer in a lab, that's way better. Let's get Bill Gates in here. Dude, let's grow some of his brain cells. Maybe I wonder if if it's better to grow Bill Gates' brain cells than, well, frankly, my brain cells.
Can we at least program Bill's brain cells to be nicer? Don't be so mean. Like, we get it. You were bullied. You got a pie thrown in your face.
It's his time.
We understand,
it's his time to
Bill,
thrive.
Man, you got to.
Well, that would be a very special version of Skynet that takes over the world. Bill Gates' brain cells equipped with artificial intelligence. It really is one of the sort of core interests that we've just cannot let go of through our career so far, Gons. So it's really, the AI. We've talked about AI brains, human brain cell stuff for a long time. And it's almost I almost look back with nostalgia, just sort of lovingly at about 2013, where we were just some crazy conspiracy theorists online, and not very many people listened to the show, and we could just talk about how biblical prophecy foretells a technocratic future where human brain cells can inhabit sort of unseen demonic spirits of the AI, and how that will be used to bring about the prophecies told so long ago. And now we're just covering the mainstream news. Now it's like we're just, you know what I mean? It almost feels like it's taken a lot of the original content out of what we used to do. that it's so widespread now.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can either come up with more sensational topics to cover, which I don't know. We're running out of room when it comes to sensationalism.
We'd probably make more money. Yeah.
We would. I mean, in general, though, it's just interesting that we're in such a crazy sci-fi world now. It's like every day these headlines come out, and they're inconceivable 20 years ago, you know?
Yeah.
But
and they just keep coming out faster and faster, too. That's the worrisome part.
Yeah. And you know, Australia, at least they are pursuing this under the guidance of the Australian intelligence leadership. Not so in other parts of the world.
Russia, Russia, Russia.
Are you ready to become cyborg?
You want to take this one, Basil?
Sure. You know what I love about this one is that it really shows the, the DIY enterprising spirit of some of these technocrats. Yes. Not all technocrats are billionaire geniuses, people, and it's about time that the little guy, the old working Joe technocrat, gets the credit he deserves. This is coming from IndiaTimes.com, so quite possibly could be coming straight from the CIA. But the headline, mind-blowing attempt. Russian man drills his skull in order to insert dream-controlling chip in brain. Really, this story just kind of writes itself, but here it is, folks. People often come forward and talk about their ability to have lucid dreams. Ooh, they come forward. Although neuroscience has made significant headway in recent years, scientists still have little to no knowledge about why and how humans dream. They need to ask the AI, I suspect. Now, the idea of controlling a person's dreams in such a climate would obviously be too far-fetched. Okay, look, just sneak a little climate change in there. It's too hot. It's too hot to be controlling a person's dreams. But here we go. However, for one man in Russia, dreams were within reach. Identified as Mikhail Raduga, the man attempted to take control of his lucid dreams through a chip inside his brain. For those unaware, lucid dreams are dreams in which a person has the ability to command the actions of their subconscious mind while they sleep. In a bid to control his lucid dreams, Raduga decided to drill a hole inside of his skull in order to insert a chip in his brain that would help him control his dreams. However, in the process of trying to drill his skull, the man ended up gravely injuring himself. Thank you. Thank you, India Times. Yes. Look, some boundaries need to be pushed in the name of utopia, okay? I do not like that this man is such an easy target, but you know what? He's a frontiersman. He's a pioneer.
He doesn't have the patience of Elon Musk. I do it myself. Go for it.
I cannot wait to become billionaire, to put in my own microchip. I will do it now. I will show Elon that he is a puny American billionaire with no guts. And then, zzz, according to reports, Raduga performed the surgery all by himself in his apartment in Novosibirsk, Russia. Obviously, things did not go as he had hoped, and Raduga had to be rushed to the hospital after losing 1 liter of blood after a 4-hour surgery on himself. And I gotta give it to this guy. He made it
dedicated.
4 hours in to this surgery. I'm impressed that it, took so long. It means, he was really taking his time. But also, I'm impressed he was able to keep going after 4 hours. I think if I tried to do this, it would have taken about 13 seconds for me to entirely change my mind.
After hour 2, is his multiple attempts? What took 4 hours?
I will say 1 liter of blood seemed, in his defense, seems like a pretty reasonable amount of blood for 4 hours drilling a hole in your own head. I would think that number would be extraordinarily higher.
Much higher,
so, I don't think this guy's getting the kind of credit he deserves. It says here, Raduga confirmed his intentions in a tweet.
Oh, yeah, of
Don't
course.
they know it's not called tweets anymore? On July 18th, in a Twitter post, Raduga confirmed that he had, in fact, carried out the procedure himself. The Russian is a well-known OBE expert.
Yes, he has a book called Teaching Out-of-Body Travel and Lucid Dreaming. How to find and train students effectively.
He's one of those guys.
One of those guys, yep.
So he's not, and this confirms not that this needed confirming, but it makes sense because it's really the sort of new agey, spiritual, humanist type of people who are the most effective and most impressive transhumanists. And the reason I think it's interesting, now, maybe you know more about the guy than I do.
I don't.
It sounds like you kind of went in there, or no?
Well, I think some of our listeners knew of him as sort of a new age guru type of guy. So
interesting.
Yeah. So I mean, it is fascinating to look at. He's sort of showing the way, so to speak, on how telepathy and all that new age promise of the golden age. This guy wanted to take the bull by the horns and jab himself with
it. drill a hole in his skull. Right. It does say here he's the founder of the Phase Research Center. He researches a dissociative state of mind, the phase, commonly referred to as out-of-body experiences, astral projection, and lucid dreams. He had made up his mind to perform the procedure by himself as he felt that the presence of the experts would have complicated the process more. You know what? I agree. I think you start getting doctors and experts in the room while you're trying to drill a hole in your own skull. I think they're going to be a little bit of an obstacle towards your goal there, Mr. Russian man.
I saw a thing on social media where a guy was about to get surgery, like a knee surgery or something. And he saw his doctor watching a tutorial on the surgery, in the other room.
That's pretty funny. Yes, I have heard stories like this. The article comes out, says, even though the operation affected Raduga's health, that is certainly one way of putting it. He remained hopeful that the outcomes would pave the way for future advancements in the dream control technology. That's right. We got to give this guy the credit. Dream control may never have happened if it weren't for Mr. Raduga. And they've got pictures here, and not going to lie, they're a little hard to look at. He's got some staples in his head. He's got plenty of bandages all around. One thing that caught my attention was the flowery bed sheets on what I thought maybe was the hospital bed.
Maybe
if this is his hospital bed, this is not a hospital I want to go to.
Yeah, or maybe it's just mom's couch or something.
It could be mom's couch.
Yeah.
Maybe mom should have been there. maybe you could have benefited from a little bit of some motherly love there, Raduga, before going for it. Now, this obviously is like fun and funny, and we're glad the guy's alive. Not that I know him personally, but it's just you can make jokes because he's alive. But it really is indicative of the strength of the movement that we've been following for so long, where you think of technocrats. We often talk of technocracy in the context of crazy billionaires, in the context of elite lizard people who are sort of paving the way for the rest of us to be led down this path to merging with machine in sort of a frog in a boiling pot of water type of way, that one day we will wake up and find ourselves sort of merged with machines, and there's nothing we can do about it. Of course, this has a lot of implications for those who are considering biblical prophecy and what some of the images presented to us in the Bible might look like in modern society, and this is certainly one of them. But it shows the strength and the sort of the depth of passion and involvement, kind of normal culturally, you'd consider them sort of insignificant, although this guy obviously is devoted. You got to be devoted to this sort of study and this sort of worldview if you're going to go ahead and drill the hole in your head. But the fact that this was more or less just kind of a guy making it happen, I think shows the one step in the process that is making the technocratic sort of dystopian man-machine merger a not just a reality, but a way of life, a viable worldview, a viable way of life, a viable it's like your life aspirations for sort of a more normal type guy can really get you quite a ways. It can get you on the news, at least. That's something.
Yeah, well, it does speak to a world that would accept a kind of mark of the beast. You know, if there are enough people out there that are stoked on getting that microchip or whatever it is so you can participate in the new economy, then you can see how that can happen. I do want to mention that back in September of 2012, a long time ago, we published Canary Cry Radio episode number 27. It was titled Dream Engineering and Feel-Good Pills. And we talked about dream engineering, lucid dreaming, spiritual entities, the new age, bioengineering, drugs, mind control, and pharmakia. Talking about Huxley and Orwell's play on with Neil Postman, quoted Neil Postman in that episode. So, we've been talking about dream engineering for a while. And I think it was even later that we had, I forget who it was that talked about how the military might have some dream invasion type of technology where they can instill dreams or influence people's dreams in some way. So perhaps this guy...
Don't forget the Bud Light Dream advertising campaign.
Dream advertising, that's right. There's that too. So you never know
I think
how
it was
much
Coors.
conditioning, how much conditioning has been done. And this Raduga guy, what kind of programs is he under? Maybe he's already under a program that would cause him to think that, hey, enough of this Elon nonsense. Let me get my hands dirty and move on with this project. I don't like the speed of the technocratic development. So anyway, just some ideas.
You know this guy was a millennial. You know, millennials, they love crafts.
He's 40. He's
they
exactly
love
my
crafting.
age.
Yeah, see? All right. Well, with that, Gons, we sort of are going through our own type of personal surgical procedure in that it is Monday.
Yes, it
Gary,
is.
what day is it? Monday.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Gary, what day is it? Monday.
Yeah, that's right. Believe it or not, folks, it's Monday again. And you might hear my voice, and it sounds like I'm on the road again. It is because I am on the road again. This was not a planned situation. It was me forgetting something that somebody told me a long time ago. And so I am on the mobile rig, so I apologize for the quality. And I apologize if you hear any strange background noises. I am currently in a closet in a cute little tent that I've created to try to block out some sound, as well as just sort of generally act like a crazy person.
I'm glad that you're back to your old roots, podcasting in a closet. This is just...
Yeah, I was going to say, this is really, for those who have been with us for, since the beginning, I've podcasted from many a closet and many a strange place. So here we go, going back to my roots. Yep. I did want to mention, well, let's see here. Do you have anything of personal value to share with the class?
Not really, no.
Okay. Yeah, well, I did go ahead and see Barbie and Oppenheimer this weekend.
Yes, we had a whole thing set up for that, for the show that we couldn't do last Wednesday because there's some thoughts about that propaganda-wise.
I did do that. I got things to say. I will say I have colloquially named Oppenheimer Nappenheimer because it is just a great film for getting a nice little afternoon nap.
You weren't terrified about his ethical challenges, his battle from within?
It was a wonderful movie if you are somebody who appreciates
You're a Nazi. You're a Nazi.
Craft.
You love this movie.
is a communist apparently, like Oppenheimer was. If you like the craft of filmmaking, if you're one of those people who enjoys the subtlety and nuance of the art form, you're gonna like Oppenheimer. But if you're not that person, you're not gonna like the movie. But you will fall asleep, and I'm convinced that there's some dream engineering technology within that film to convince you. I don't know, that the U.S. government has your best interests in mind.
Did Oppenheimer look at the camera and say something about AI at the end?
AI, no. But, I mean, there's weird connections because, Elon said that AI is more dangerous than a nuclear bomb, right? Or nuclear war.
And then he announces,
and of course,
XAI the week of Oppenheimer.
That's right. Oppenheimer comes out. So with eyes to see and ears to hear, it kind of is a story about AI. In a way, it tells the story of the nuclear bomb in such a, again, it's very complex and very nuanced. But if you are, primed to think about current versions of catastrophic technology, it's got a great message in there when it comes to AI. And then Barbie, boy, oh boy, is Barbie a movie. It is a movie. Here's the thing. People are talking about how woke and lame it is. It is, but here's the problem. The problem with calling Barbie too woke or whatever is that it is so excruciatingly so that it's like they were purposefully making satire of sort of woke culture. So you
woke culture realized the joke kind of thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like they knew that
they figured it out. They're the last ones to figure it out.
Yeah, it's kind of like they knew what Ben Shapiro was going to say about it. So they did it in such an absurdly satirical way that Ben Shapiro kind of looks like a butthead for even making the comments. You know what I mean? It was a brilliant self-defense mechanism for the sort of woke thing, because honestly, if you hear what people say about it and then see the movie, you're like, oh, okay, so we're just not even like trying to, I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know. It's a very pink movie. If you like pink, it'll be great for you. But anyways, I didn't plan on going into that as much as I did, but I did. And so there you go. If anybody wants to tweet about it, let me know. But we have something much more important to talk about. We talked about it just a bit on Friday's show, but we have officially been deployed to be able to talk about it more. And that is the missing Canarians report, the missing person. So Christine C., producer Christine C., a lovely producer of the show, works really hard for us, does timestamps, does all sorts of stuff. Her daughter has gone missing. And so what we're doing our part, getting the word out there. If you're on Twitter or X or whatever, go to either Gonza's Twitter or mine and retweet the poster, retweet the information. Christine C. has let us know that the mission right now is just to get this poster out there to as many people as possible, to, hopefully it reaches the people it needs to reach. Hopefully it warns the people who are involved with the disappearance of her daughter that they are on blast. It is time to get Malaya home. If you are in the Washington area, that is where she was last seen, in Tukwila, Washington, on the 21st. And of course, if you're watching right now, if you recognize this person, go ahead, call 911, or we've got the phone number for her mother. And I'm going to give it out here again, just in case we have a lot of listeners in Washington. I'll be sending out an email with this poster later today. The number to call is either 911 or 206-455-0313. That's 206-455-0313. And of course, help us get that poster out there. Help us to get the word out there. And of course, if you see anything or know anything or have seen this person, make the calls you got to make, but also pray. If you can't do any of those things, just get on your knees, start praying, because you know what? Anybody going missing is a tragedy. But this is someone in the family. This is Canarian. This is Christine C. We thank her every single show for the work that she does for us. And there you go. It's time to get down to business here. So keep a lookout for that. Go to our Twitter, retweet that thing. Help us get the message out.
All right. Well.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much for me to add on that. So
no, I don't. Again, we'll be sending out more information, making it possible. But yeah, producers around the world. Why don't we just hit the producers now, just to make it official?
Producers, assemble!
That's right, producers around the world. Anybody listening to my voice right now can be a producer. It's somebody who's just committed to praying for the show. We talk about that, praying for the producers of the show, which is a huge part of it, and that's where we're coming out now. So pray for Malaya, Christine C's daughter, and let's go ahead, get this wrapped up, get Malaya home. So Thank you very much, producers.
Yep.
And with that, this is where we would usually thank some executive producers, but as far as I'm aware, we do not have any executive producers, so I'll save us the seconds on the jingle there. And no new babysitter producers, so I guess we can just get right back into the show, huh?
All right, let's go.
Okay.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
Yep, it's time for the Flippy update, folks. Chippy, Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world and how there's nothing we can do about it. Today's Flippy update is coming from, which one are we doing? Are we doing interesting engineering, Gons?
You do whichever one you want.
That's a good question. Man, that's tough. Let's go ahead and do the IEEE.
Okay. We'll save the other one for next time.
Yes. Well, this is coming from IEEE.org, and this is kind of fun. It says here, it's totally fine for humanoid robots to fall down. Okay? Stop robo-shaming.
No, it's not. They're not supposed to fall down.
Fine.
Come on.
Totally fine for humanoid robots to fall down. And it goes like this. Everybody likes watching robots fall over. We get it. It's funny. And we here at IEEE Spectrum are as guilty as anyone of making it a thing. Our compilation of robots falling down at the DARPA Robotics Challenge 8 years ago has several million views on YouTube. Brag. But a couple of months ago, Agility Robotics shared a video one of its digit robots collapsing while stacking boxes during the ProMat Trader Show, which went nuts across Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. Oh my gosh, the video went nuts, Gons. I noticed they didn't list our podcast as an outlet at which people gawked at this robot, because we did cover the digit robot during a Flippy update.
Yeah, where's our link going nuts?
That's fine. We're just the silent heroes of the robotic entertainment generation. Agility eventually issued a statement to the Associated Press clarifying that Digit didn't activate itself due to the nature of the work, which is how some viewers reacted to the viral clip. Agility isn't the only robotics company to share its failures with an online audience. Boston Dynamics, the developer of the Spot and Atlas robots, may have been the first company to be accused of robot abuse. Robot abuse, Gons. It's in quotes there, so you know it's serious business. Because of its videos, and the company frequently includes footage of its research robots being unsuccessful, as well as successful on YouTube. And now, with 1,100 spots out in the world being useful, falls happen both more frequently and more visibly. Even though falling robots aren't a new thing, what may be a newish thing are some technological advances that have changed the nature of falling. Changed the very nature of falling, Gons. Human beings have been falling for thousands of years.
Especially out of the garden.
Yes, we have the biggest fall from grace.
Yeah.
And the robots come along and just a few short years have taken falling to the next level and putting us to shame here. The message is clear from IEEE Spectrum is that robots are not only here to take our jobs and enslave our children and flirt with our spouses, but also do be better victims of physics. First, both Boston Dynamics and Agility Robotics have human-scale bipedal robots, for which not falling seems pretty normal. This is a relatively recent development, although a number of companies are working on humanoids. The Agility and Boston Dynamics humanoids are, as far as we are aware, the only ones that can routinely handle untethered, dynamic walking. Woo. So this after this, it does turn into sort of an interview style article where they sent some questions to representatives from a number of different robotics companies, and they all got to answer, all got to put their answers in on it. And I'm not going to read them because they're so very predictable. Questions like why people react so strongly to robots falling, how bad is falling for robots anyways, how can robots learn to fall better, how can robots learn to fall safely, and what should people know about falling robots. And it's really I would just say a waterfall of robo-propaganda and doing a wonderful job. It's kind of like when Joe Biden falls on stage or something. The entire propagandistic mechanism immediately goes into why it's a good thing that Joe Biden tripped on a sandbag, how it reveals the strength of our economy.
Humanity. Yeah.
Yes, and America's place in the world has been restored, all because of how he tripped on a sandbag. It's very similar to that, and I can summarize the entire very long list of answers with robots are just better. Robots are better. Them falling, and we've talked about the imperfections of robots. The propaganda being it's the imperfections of robots that make them perfect. Like humans. It's our imperfections that allow us to do better and to learn and to innovate and to diversity. And they are basically copy-pasting that answer to the robots. That is because the robots are tripping and falling, because the robots are learning how to fall better. What does that really tell us about being a human, Gons? Which is just sort of a lovely display of pretty classic propaganda techniques. You've got some doublespeak, you've got some, appeal to authority, you've got some wonderful different little tricks being deployed, all just entirely devoting themselves to making robots more emotionally coherent to human beings. Mm-hmm. And this, I think, is very dangerous. We need to hold our robots to better standards, Gons. They're not politicians. When they fail or are corrupt or cheat or, take advantage of their power, we cannot, with politicians, somehow that gets spun into their humanity and how it's because they love us so much that they collapse our economy and they just are trying to make a better world. Well, I demand that we do not do this with robots. If a robot falls, it is a failure, not a victory, Gonzo.
Well, it's funny because you keep kind of reading through these highlighted quotes. They got these big orange bold quotes here. And
yeah,
I won't read them, but the progression that I noticed here is that it kind of goes from, robots fall too, and it's fun and whatever. to kind of like, well, they fall better actually. They're
Exactly.
better at falling. Actually, when a human falls and they're holding a baby, a human has an inclination to protect the baby. We can program that into the robot so that when a robot falls, it has an inclination to protect the humans around, as if we were just helpless children being carried around by the robots. And then at the end, they're like fully advocating the fall. Let the robot fall. Just let him fall. Back up, humans. This is how we take over.
The world will be better if the robots fall. Just let it happen.
It's like really offensive. Yeah, offensive at the end.
Yeah,
getting aggressive with their "Let Robots Fall" campaign. Kind of weird.
A lot of times we talk about robot propaganda in kind of a cheeky way that like a lot of people don't really buy. They think, look, we are having fun here, but we're almost entirely serious about the threats that
of course.
And it's not just about robots. I mean, we've been doing robots are going to kill us for a long time, but it's more about how the elite, robotics propagandists are doing their dark work to not just put robots in the streets, but put them into our minds to program us to make the world better for robots, not to make robots make the world better, but how can we make a better world for robots? And it starts with programming human beings and, talking about robo abuse and, do not pity them. Do not pity the robot who falls, for it is not his weakness. It is his strength.
It's learning. It's adding data to the large language models. Although robots do love to kill. Did you hear what Trump said about the robots?
They love killing.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. He would know.
He was talking about robots there.
He would know. Yeah. So there you go. Keep an eye out for that, folks. Hold our robots to a higher standard. Do not let them do what they have done to so many of our institutions in this country, taking away objective high watermarks and goals and standards to our students and our politicians and our economy. No. We must hold the roboticists to a higher standard. And if a robot falls, it ain't no robot of mine, baby.
Well, the next story here is a cross-section. It's kind of like a soup, so to speak. Yeah, it's got...
cross-section soup. Yummy.
Like a giant X in a soup.
It's got to be biblical.
It's biblical. It's also pandemic.
A pandemic special. COVID-19! COVID-19! COVID-19!
COVID-19! Yes!
COVID-19! COVID-19!
Coronavirus. Actually, it's more WACCINE.
WACCINE.
This is a pandemic of the unvaccinated.
I wanna die or be decapacitated. I wanna be vaccinated.
But it's also,
feels good.
I know, but
feels good.
It's also climate change. Climate change. You can add pharmacia. The whole thing. It's just one long.
It's
I told
everything.
you by the end of our careers here at Canary Cry News Talk, it's just going to be 2 hours of jingles, and that's going to tell the story. Just headline on the screen and jingles, and boom, you get your fix.
That'll be nice.
Okay, so this is coming from the DailyDot, which is an interesting outlet. But the DailyDot has the headline, quote, feels like Genesis 19, anti-vaxxers praise God for tornado that wrecked Pfizer manufacturing plant.
Oh.
Yeah. I wonder if this is
so many layers.
Yeah, it's almost like they're granting victory to the anti-vaccine movement. It's very interesting. And turning them into religious psychos, which we all kind of knew was taking place. Anti-vaccine conspiracy theorists are claiming... That's quite the title. Anti-vaccine conspiracy theorists are claiming God sent a tornado to North Carolina on Wednesday to severely damage a Pfizer manufacturing plant. Located.
One question.
Sure.
Before we get into it. Do they have proof that it wasn't God who sent a tornado to blow up the Pfizer plant?
Of course not. They knew it was. I think they know.
This is a baseless theory.
No, I think they know that it was one of their own lizard people, maybe a young lizard person controlling the weather machine there. Gets a little out of control. Oops, damages the Pfizer factory there. But then, you can make fun of Christians. So that's kind of, it's all good for them. Yes, but let's continue. Located in the city of Rocky Mount, the 250-acre site, which produces a significant portion of the country's sterile injectables, was crushed by winds reaching upward of 150 miles when a twister passed through the area. A whirlwind. The plant, which also manufactures vials, IV bags, and bottles of anesthesia, saw more than 50,000 pallets of goods strewn across the site. No one at the plant received any serious injuries as a result. Yeah, they all got the memo to get out of there.
Pallets.
I was going to say 50,000 pallets being destroyed and strewn across, and no people injured. That's good odds, I suppose. Or
that's an absurd amount of pallets. 50,000 pallets. I'm going to guess, my educated guess. I've worked with palleted stuff before. That's like an entire. I mean, it might be more, but it's at least a football field's worth of pallets stacked, maybe 10 high. It's an insane amount of product.
That's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. Anti-vaccine users on social media, however, immediately saw the devastation as a righteous act of God. In countless comments, conspiracy theorists celebrated the destruction due to their false beliefs surrounding the COVID-19 vaccine. It's because of a false belief, Basil, that they were so happy. A writer for the conservative outlet The Blaze, for example, used the incident to state that God clearly had a, quote, sense of humor. Another user argued that the tornado had actually saved lives by damaging the plant.
Yeah,
they
okay.
They quote the tweets and whatever.
Sure.
And then they go on. Others jokingly stated that God works in mysterious ways to enact his judgment on mankind. Quote, "The Lord moves in mysterious ways," one user added. Man, these DailyDot articles are just ridiculous. Numerous accounts also cited everything from poetic justice to the wrath of God when discussing the natural disaster. Some even went as far as to thank Jesus for the devastation. Quote, "Nice. Thank you, Jesus," one said. Oh, man.
Give praise in all things.
Yeah, it does say that. Unsurprisingly, the prominent QAnon promoter and failed political candidate Ron Watkins pointed to biblical scripture after hearing of the news. Quote, "Feels like Genesis 19:24, Watkins said.
Really?
Yeah.
So this was Watkins. For those who need reminding, Ron Watkins was the 4chan guy who the Into the Storm QAnon documentary alleged that he was Q, that he started and was, or something, at least was responsible for Q in a lot of different ways. And then I forget what he ran for. He ran for Senate or something, and it didn't go well.
Yeah, yep. And he was banned off Twitter, and I think he came back, obviously, with the Elon resurrection of Twitter, now X. The scripture in question discusses when God is said to have, quote, rained down sulfur upon Sodom and Gomorrah. That's the thing. It's like, hey, if you're going to make a reference, sure, but I guess you can kind of tie it in with the Pfizer thing and the whatever act of God judgment. But usually the Sodom and Gomorrah thing and the sulfur reference has to do with other sort of sinful behaviors, not necessarily medicine.
Right.
But whatever. Yet no conspiracy theory would be complete without an even more grandiose interpretation. Even more, Basil. At least one user rejected the theory regarding divine intervention to instead accuse Pfizer of blowing up its own plant to destroy some unspecified evidence. Quote, "That's not an act of God. It's a man-made disaster," the user tweeted. Quote, "If you think the most ruthless company on the planet isn't capable of destroying evidence, you're living in Legoland."
Legoland.
Which actually, that line would have been perfect with the other Flippy, which had to do with Legos, but it's okay. It'll all connect later. In a statement on the disaster, a Pfizer spokesperson said that the pharmaceutical giant was, quote, assessing the situation to determine the impact on production, despite the joy being experienced by anti-vaxxers.
See, that's what this is about. That's what this whole thing is about, is they do not like the joy that anti-vaxxers are feeling. That is the real thing. Now, of course, there was other, news articles about the thing happening, but to put it in the context of, this was really bad that the Pfizer factory blew up because now anti-vaxxers get to be joyful, and we don't want that now, do we?
They're just mad that they're happy. They're trying.
Exactly.
They don't have necessarily the arguments against it. Obviously, like you said, there's no proof that God didn't do it.
I mean, but isn't that journalism today?
Yeah, it is.
Journalism today. The most important thing is not the story.
No.
It's who feels. What are the feelings? What are the feelings of the different groups? Who's happy? Who's sad about it? Who's mad at who? And this is just a real gold mine, or really sort of a little porthole into the souls of American journalism.
I mean, it's quite sad, actually. And look, can God judge? Have certain judgments? Of course. I'm not going to put it past God to have certain judgments, especially in the United States with all the stuff we've done here. But
could have been HARP.
That could have been HARP for sure. That's what I'm saying.
I mean,
it seems more like their own kind of messing up, or
well,
somebody's going to get a call.
Here's the things that I want to know.
Fauci
I want to
mad.
know what the products were that got destroyed.
Yeah.
And was the plant insured? Of course it was insured, but what was the insurance payout?
Yeah.
Because we know that, the vaccine industry is not doing so hot right now. Demand for the COVID vaccine is as low as it's ever been since it came out. And we know that the manufacturers of the vaccine made way too much. They continued to create more and more and more, and nobody wants it. It's a huge financial liability to have probably millions and millions of dollars worth of vaccine vials. Who knows? Maybe even 50,000 pallets worth is sitting around. It's just going to go bad. It's a huge loss of money. But if you can file an insurance claim on an insane amount of products that you aren't going to be able to sell anyway.
Blew up the factory. We're victims of the climate change you warn of.
Just get a little HARP tornado spun up, and send it to the right spot.
Down.
It's really not the craziest theory.
It's not. And, I don't know. The whole thing is interesting to me because, of course, they take the opportunity to not just lump together Christians with conspiracy theorists, but also, obviously tie in the anti-vaccine part of it. It's like you're anti-vaccine, you're a conspiracy theorist, and you're a Christian. You're the triple whammy. You're a horrible person. You should not experience joy of any kind, especially at the expense of our slave masters. So
experiencing joy at a disaster, and to them, this Pfizer factory
valuable resources
getting blown up. Yes, that could have been lives. That could have been 50,000 lives saved.
They can spin
look
this.
At these bad people.
They can spin this. If they wanted to go further, they can spin it and say it's because of the conspiracy theorists, anti-vaxxers, and Christians who don't believe in climate change that allowed this to happen. And so, they're terrorists.
Yeah. Yep. Anybody driving a Ford F-150 is a climate terrorist that blew up a vaccine factory.
Yep. Well, there's another kind of COVID-related thing here. This is more appropriately the COVID jingle.
COVID-19, COVID-19, COVID-19,
COVID-19, yes.
COVID-19, COVID-19, COVID-19.
Coronavirus.
33 is the number of completion of the Great War.
You want to take this one from the New York Times?
Yes, of course. This is coming from the New York Times. And the headline, secure connection failed. Secure connection failed.
Oh, no.
Nope, you're going to have to do it.
A positive COVID milestone In a sign that the pandemic is really over, the total number of Americans dying each day is no longer historically abnormal.
Historically abnormal.
It's a few days old, but yeah, we wanted to bring it just because, it's just after all the amount of coverage we did during COVID and the amount of the amount of arrows that we took, it's just kind of nice to revisit and see how it was all, worth it, I suppose, in a sense. The United States has reached a milestone in the long struggle against COVID. The total number of Americans dying each day from any cause is no longer historically abnormal. Excess deaths, as this number is known, has been an important measure of COVID's true toll because it does not depend on the murky attribution of deaths to a specific cause. Oh, it's murky, huh? Even if COVID is being underdiagnosed, the excess deaths statistic can capture its effects. The statistic also captures COVID's indirect effects, like the surge of vehicle crashes, gun deaths, and deaths from missing medical treatments during the pandemic. So it could affect COVID directly or non-directly affected COVID. Some of this stuff, they've gotten so convoluted with justifying their whole position here. During COVID's worst phase, the total number of Americans dying each day was more than 30% higher than normal, a shocking increase. For long stretches of the past 3 years, the excess was above 10%. Okay, keep this in mind, by the way. Each day was more than 30% higher than normal. Okay, 30% higher than normal was each day. A shocking increase. For long stretches of the past 3 years, the excess was above 10%. But during the past few months, excess deaths have fallen almost to zero, according to 3 different measures. The Human Mortality Database estimates that slightly fewer Americans than normal have died since March, while The Economist magazine and the CDC both put the excess death number below 1%. And they show some graphs here showing the information. After 3 horrific years in which COVID has killed more than 1 million Americans and transformed parts of daily life, the virus has turned into an ordinary illness. The story is similar to many other countries. Yeah, it's ordinary now. Story is similar to many other countries, if not quite so positive. Okay, so America had it better, I guess. And then it talks about the power of immunity. The progress stems mostly from 3 factors. First, about 3/4 of U.S. adults have received at least 1 vaccine shot. Brr, nonsense. Okay.
Well, if you just get 1, that's nothing. That's not even fully vaccinated.
Yep. Second, more than 3/4 of Americans have been infected with COVID, providing natural immunity from symptoms.
Wait a
About
second.
97% of adults fall into at least one of those first 2 categories. So you're either vaccinated, which seems to have done nothing, or you're part of the 97% of adults who fell into the 3/4 of Americans who got infected and thus have natural immunity. I thought natural immunity was no longer a thing.
Yes, it's a real thing now, Don.
2020-ish. Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
I can't believe New York Times is questioning Fauci here.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's interesting how they came back around on that topic. Third, post-infection treatments like Paxlovid, which can reduce the severity of symptoms, became widely available last year. Okay. Quote, nearly every death is preventable, Dr. Ashish Jha. He quoted Dr. Jha throughout the pandemic, by the way, who was until recently President Biden's top COVID advisor, told me, quote, we are at a point where almost everybody who's up to date on their vaccines and gets treated if they have COVID, they rarely end up in the hospital. They almost never die. End quote. That is also true for most high-risk people, Jha pointed out, including older adults like his parents who are in their 80s. And then they talk about immunocompromised people, and even some among the immunocompromised, it's not so bad. The excess deaths have fallen close to zero, helps make this point. If COVID were still a dire threat to large numbers of people, that would show up in the data. It's all about the data, Basil, the data. One point of confusion, I think, has been the way that many Americans, including we in the media, that's you, New York Times.
Ooh, again, to take some responsibility?
Yeah, they're doing some wrist cutting or something. I don't know why I thought it. One point of confusion, I think, has been the way that many Americans, including we in the media, have talked about the immunocompromised. They are a more diverse group than casual discussion often imagines. And who was doing the casual discussion and profiling of immunocompromised people? That's you, New York Times. So, okay, at least you're admitting to some fault here, I guess. Most immunocompromised people are at little additional risk from COVID. Even people with serious conditions such as multiple sclerosis or a history of many cancers. A much smaller group, such as people who have received kidney transplants or are undergoing active chemotherapy, face higher risks.
Interesting. Okay.
Very, very specific.
So really just so far, just belittling of the numbers across the board, all numbers.
Yep. Okay. Now this part is the part that really, I mean, it's self-harm at this point for the New York Times. With versus from. COVID's toll, to be clear, has not fallen to zero.
If we had the words with versus from in a video title a year ago, we'd get a strike on YouTube.
Yeah, we'd get a strike, for sure. COVID's toll, to be clear, has not fallen to zero. The CDC's main COVID webpage estimates that about 80 people per day have been dying from the virus in recent weeks, which is equal to about 1% of overall daily deaths. Okay, so about 1% of all deaths daily is COVID, which is 80.
I don't even know.
I don't know about that either, but okay.
I don't know about that, but okay.
The official number is probably an exaggeration because it includes some people who had virus when they died, even though it was not the underlying cause of death.
Wow.
Other CDC data suggests that almost 1/3 of official recent COVID deaths have fallen into this category.
I love that.
1/3.
1/3, also known as 33%.
A study published in the journal Clinical Infectious Diseases came to similar conclusions. It's almost like the elite people. They're like, well, how do we make this happen? Let's just raise the death rate by 33%. Like nail that number, and then they have a pandemic. It's quite crazy, and the 1/3 thing is also interesting because just earlier, remember it mentioned how, the total death rate rose 30% higher than normal on a daily basis. It's like, okay, if it was 1/3 higher, if it's exaggerated, I mean, man, wait, is it backwards? Is it 2/3? Am I missing the numbers?
I don't know. I don't have a secure connection. You'll have to tell me.
Other CDC suggests that almost 1/3 of official recent COVID deaths have fallen into this category. So only 1/3. Oh, okay, 1/3 are exaggerated. So yeah, that makes sense. 33%, and then 30% being the number of above norm on a daily basis for deaths at the highest point during COVID.
It is interesting how they use the word recent there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Even so, some Americans are still dying from COVID. Quote, I don't know anybody who thinks we're going to eradicate COVID, Ja said. Another thing that we kind of talked about, too, is that it's never going to really go away. Dr. Shira Doran, the chief infection control officer at Tufts Medicine in Massachusetts, told me that, quote, age is clearly the most substantial risk factor. COVID's victims are both older and disproportionately unvaccinated. Given the politics of vaccination, the recent victims are also disproportionately Republican and white. COVID killed Republican old white people. It was a Democrat virus.
New York Times, why are you complaining so much?
Seriously, since when do you care about the old white Republicans? Isn't that your mortal enemy, New York Times?
Yeah.
Each of these deaths is a tragedy. The deaths that were preventable because somebody had not received available vaccines and treatments seems particularly tragic.
Oh my gosh.
Yet the number of COVID deaths has now dropped low enough that they are difficult to notice in the overall death data. They can be swamped by fluctuations in their cause of death, such as the flu or vehicle crashes.
Yeah.
I think I'll just end it there.
The motorcycle crash guy who got added. That is crazy. I mean, I don't even really know what to say about that. We've been watching slowly the mainstream media sort of catch up to these things. Of course, started with Leana Wen to be really the first big American journalist to come out and recognize that the data that was being presented, not just being presented, but the being enforced by the thought police wasn't quite what it was. And now the New York Times. Who wrote this New York Times piece?
David Leonhardt.
Yeah, it doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah.
Okay, well, are they going to give everybody their jobs back or give people
Can we
their
get our
YouTube
channel
channels
back? YouTube,
Yeah,
can I get my
gonna...
Face Like the Sun YouTube channel back? That would be incredible. That would, I will cry. I will cry if that happens.
Yeah, right. Wow. Well, okay. Thank you very much, New York Times. We appreciate the what is the word? I don't know.
The vindication, the thought. Yeah, sure. The gesture. The gesture.
I think it's funny how they put in that part about the Republican boomers, because the Republican boomers are the ones who they are sort of targeting to get back into the New York Times. You know, this is if you think of news, this news company, this corporation who's trying to earn back the trust of the nation. The people who trust them the least probably are Republican boomers, and so they get to try to lure in some Republicans back to reading the New York Times, try to gain some credibility again. And at the same time, sort of backhandedly, it's just a tragedy that all the Republican boomers are dying because of this thing. They get to still toe the line. Like, they can't come out and say, like, wow, this was pretty deceptive for us.
We are horrible to have published so much misinformation,
it was a mistake. Oh, it was just a whoopsie doodles. It was an unfortunate mistake that things were counted this way, and it really is sad that Republican boomers are the ones who are taking the heat for it.
It's almost more diabolical because it's like, it's so bad that all these white Republicans died. Come back and read our magazine. Read our newspaper.
Very manipulative. Yeah. Sort of genius in a way.
Evil genius for sure. Yeah.
I don't think it's going to work, but it was a nice try.
Nice try. Yep.
Well, what does work, Gons?
What's that?
The value for value model. Got to be quicker on the rhetorical questions.
Value for value. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.
Yeah, that's right, folks. We're on the value for value model, which means we don't take any money from corporations, commies, or cartels. We have no apologizing to do for our advertisers. In fact, the only reason we are alive today is because people who receive value from the show and the broad swath of work that we have created over the years, if you get value from that, you're invited to participate in the paradigm-shifting method of keeping media alive, and that's called the value for value model. If you get value, put value back in. It's called producing the show, and you can do it with your time, your talent, or your treasure. A lot of ways to do it. And we like to thank our producers here real quick during the show. Not a whole lot of them today, so don't hit that dial, folks. We'll be back to the show in no time. Did we get any voicemails by chance?
Speak pipe. The only speak pipe we have is from wait, what is this? Oh, we had the pre-show prayer from Brenton JB. So thank you, Brenton, for that. That was
okay. Yeah, nice. Thank you very much. Okay, well, there you go. Remember, you can leave us voicemails. You can say hi to us, give a shout out on the show, tell a story, sing a song, or leave us a pre-show prayer by going to canarycrienewstalk.com/nothing. Just canarycrienewstalk.com. You'll see a green tab on the bottom of the right-hand side of the page, and then it's all self-explanatory from there. Well, another way you can produce the show is with your treasure. Let's thank some financial producers.
Let's do it.
Okay. No executive producers for this episode. And, really not a whole lot of financial producers.
We're still, by the way, we're working on a babysitter. It's
Yes, still
tough.
working on the babysitter thing. The Babysitters Club is still available, folks. Go to canarycrysupply.com to get involved with that. Help us pay for an hour of babysitting a month, because that's what we do. We got paid babysitter to do this show.
Canary Cry Babysitters Club.
That's right. And we're still at 33. We need 33 of the Canary Cry babysitters. We've not gotten one since we hit that number. And oh my goodness, watch out, folks. And if you sign up for the Babysitters Club, you'll also get the most awesome shirt to ever be created on the face of the planet. It's the new Canary Cry News Talk shirt by Sir Darren out of the Hungry Panda. So go to canarycrysupply.com. Just commit to helping us with a one hour of babysitting a month, and you'll get the shirt. You're also signed up for the supply drop, so you'll get a package every 3 months just filled with awesome stuff. And this year it will include DVDs of the Age of Deceit documentary series, so go check it out. Okay, here's we have one producer who came in above $7.77. Wow. And that was Sir LX Protocol V2, now to the Berean Protocol. Hey. So yeah, came in with pocket full of sevens. Thank you very much, Sir LX Protocol. And he's on a 195 episode streak.
195.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? That is Street Setter.
There you go. And yeah, no note, nothing. Thank you very much, Sir Alex Protocol. And the rest, we got our streakers who came in under $7.77, starting with Sir Casey the Shield Knight, 324 in a row.
Thank you, Sir Casey.
Got Veronica D, 286 in a row.
Thank you, Veronica D.
Sir Scott Knot of Truth, 313 in a row.
Ooh, thank you.
313, yeah. Cool. Dame Gale, Canary Whisperer, and Lady of X's and O's, 285 in a row.
Thank you, Dame Gale.
We got Sir Moore of Now Burning Chariots, 256 in a row.
Thank you, Sir Morv.
Mm-hmm. Okie dokie. There you go. That's the whole gang. We appreciate your guys' help, especially you streakers. You've been in the game for a long time, and it's just incredible to watch that number grow. And to the rest of you, consider, have you ever produced the show? Has it been a while since you produced the show? Have you put value back in one way or another? It's days like these that got Gons and I shaking in our boots. And the only reason we can really even take a breath is because of our monthly producers, such as the Supply Droppers, the Babysitters Club, the T-Shirt Council. So maybe if you'd like to consider keeping this show alive, consider producing the show or joining one of those monthly programs. That would be so helpful. Of course, there's canarycrysupply.com, canarycry-t-shirt-council.com, or if you just want to learn more, go to canarycry.support.
That's when I'm supposed to play jingle, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
If it'll load, it will play.
Canarycry.support.
There we go.
There we go.
All right. Well, let's thank some producers coming in with their talent. We ask producers to come in with talent. If you can't do treasure, that's fine. You can still produce a show. Contribute with your talent. Help us shape the culture behind the community here at Canary Cry News Talk. We're going to start off with audio production.
Audio production.
We have one from Marty B. Unfortunately, I cannot find the Marty B intro jingle.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you know.
Oh, no. Sorry, Marty B.
Actually, this one might work. Let's see. Marty B sent us a lot of stuff, so I'm sometimes unable to find the exact thing. Is this a Marty B jingle, like intro jingle?
Mail train.
Okay, well, there's Marty B right there.
But it's a mail train jingle. Why? Where did that come from? We got to start playing the mail train jingle. We need to sit down and really go through the pile of jingles and activate some of these latent treasures just waiting to make it on the air.
Yeah, so Marty B comes with a note here. I'm trying to come up with one for Casey the Shield Knight and possibly the Babysitter Club theme song. Thanks, Marty B. And he sent us the Rochelle bumper.
Okay.
Love it.
Love it.
Punchy.
Short, snappy, catchy. Rochelle. Thank you very much, Marty B. And yeehaw. I'm glad Rochelle just got it. See, that's the thing, folks. You make yourself known on this program. You help out the show. You produce the show. And someday a producer will make you your very own jingle. Thank you very much, Marty B.
Thank you, Marty B. Next up, we have Lloyd V. Lloyd V is back. Dear Basil and Gons, attached in this email are shots fired, and then he needs some milk. He wrote here, the influencer and Don't Misgender Me jingle did indeed feature Adam Curry's voice. That's the one we played last episode. I heard Gons talking about his son who's almost turning 3. It got me thinking maybe the Shimura and Lloyd V families could merge one day into one great dynasty. My daughter is cute, adorable, and well-raised. Sleep on it. Let me know. Wink emoji. Love you guys. Thanks for the great show. Blessings, Lloyd V. Whoa.
Transatlantic merging of dynasties. A North Atlantic treaty association, if you will.
Yeah.
You guys can start your own defense coalition. And sort of manipulate world events for your own personal gain.
Well, the idea of an arranged marriage in this context is, hey, look, it's not out of the question the way.
You know what? We're going back to the old ways here. That's I don't think really anybody would even blame you.
Yeah. So, all right, Lloyd V, I'll bring it up with the wife, and yeah, maybe send pictures. We'll converse. It'll be a slow but potentially world-changing
15 years. You still got time.
Yep. Okay, so let's play these jingles here. We got Lloyd V, shots fired. I like that.
Oh, that's fun.
I like that. That's good. And also, he needs some milk.
Oh, somebody! Oh, he needs some milk.
What? I don't know what that means, but I think it's hilarious. It might be the funniest out of context jingle in the world.
Is that the everybody go hide your kids? Is that the same lady, or is that a different one?
No, that was a man who did that one.
Man? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Lloyd V.
Thank you, Lloyd V.
Fun finds.
All right, we have one more here. Wait, is this from? Oh, I believe this is visual art. Okay, yeah, let's move on to art.
One art, please.
We start off with Sir Dove, Knight of Raspeltia.
One art piece from Dove.
And Dove, there's a note here. Piece for today's artwork. I made a thermometer progress chart for the Babysitters Club. Sent one version with the original 5 and one with a blank thermometer for future counting. Hope you guys like it. Keep doing what you do, and I'll keep praying for you. Dove, P.S. As of Wednesday morning, he batch sent in some of these, so this is from last Wednesday. Still no baby. We'll send in the next few shows worth of art and keep you updated, though. Thank you. So maybe there is a note in there that says the baby was born, but as for episode 648, when he submitted the art, no baby yet.
Sent in on the 19th.
Yeah, so it's been a few days.
I'm kind of looking ahead here to see. I don't see a note about the baby being born, so it sounds like we're still waiting. Thank you very much, Sir Dove. Sir Dove sent in, it has been on my list to create fundraising thermometers for the producership for months now, and it has just been on that to-do list and mocking me every single day of every single week for months now, even before I was in the hospital. And Dove just went ahead and made it happen in the most hilarious way. We have King Charles in full regalia.
Royal garb. Yeah.
Yes, he's got the crown, he's got the cape, he's got a giant Baphomet necklace, derpy-eyed Baphomet necklace. In one hand, he is holding 2 copies of the Babysitter Club books.
This is what I remember. The paperbacks with the 80s look on the cover. Yeah, this is what I remember.
Yep, there we go. So we got this and in his other hand, he's holding a giant thermometer, a giant fundraising thermometer that we can, as we get more. He's got 42 lines on there, so we can count down till we have enough Babysitter Club members. He sent a copy that was blank, sent a copy that was filled in. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it still needs to be updated. But thank you very much, Sir Dove. There is, if you go down by the
there's a rock
thermometer. There's a rock that says Jacob was here.
Yeah.
And is that the
it's
what is
stone,
the rock called?
It's allegedly the stone.
The stone of scones.
The stone of scones.
That's what it is.
Yes. Allegedly, Jacob rested his head. It's underneath the king's throne, and so yes, that is.
Traditionally, it's actually up in Scotland in a museum right now, but they put it under the throne, which had a special little shelf for this rock when he gets coronated. Fun. We went through the history of that a while back. Very fun thing. Thank you very much, Sir Dove.
When Charles was getting knighted, we went through some of that. And I don't know if we
knighted,
read all of it, but
kinged.
Kinged. Yes, I'm in producer mode. Okay. Yep. There you go. Thank you very much, Sir Dove. Appreciate it. We also have something from Caleb. It's actually
got a few things from Caleb.
Yeah, Caleb has a note here. I was inspired by one of Gonz's tweets, or X's, if that's what we're calling them now. CCNT has the meats. And so, we got a series here. Which one do you want to do first?
I don't know. I guess we'll put up that one first. He's got one that has the old Canary Cry News Talk logo up, like as if it is the sign in front of an Arby's here.
Right.
And it says, "We've got the meats." Canary Cry News Talk. We got the meats. He's got one that's like a gift card.
Yeah.
An Arby's gift card thing that has the new seal of CCNT there on the gift card. It says again, "We have the meats." I don't know. I went onto your Twitter account and was looking for something that you tweeted about meat. What is this in relation to eating bugs or something? Why do we have the meat?
I don't remember now.
The other one, it's an Arby's ad. It must have been during lockdowns or something, because it says, "In these uncertain times, we have the meats." You must have been talking about bugs, and you said something about how we'll be eating meat on the show or something. I couldn't find a tweet about you talking about meat. I'm so confused. It's funny. I like it. I have no idea. But I believe Caleb that it says Gonz is tweeted. Okay. All right. I'm going to go back. I'm going to look for it on X.
Oh boy, X. I have a whole thread ready to go on X here in the Mark of the Beast.
Do you remember tweeting about meat?
No.
Okay.
It's possible that I tweeted something, and you know how these things go. You
and then you deleted it because you were getting canceled.
Yeah, no, maybe it's possible.
Yeah, it's possible.
Or it's reference to something, and then it sparks something in his mind, and so. You know how these things are.
Have you ever eaten at Arby's? I've never once eaten at an Arby's.
I have actually. Yeah, I have eaten at Arby's.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
It feels like I'm eating
they got the meats.
Synthetic food, but yeah. Good fries though. Good curly fries.
Okay. Thank you very much, producer Caleb, and thank you to all of our graphic artists there. Yep. I think we have some microfiction.
We indeed do have microfiction.
Microfiction.
Time. Microfiction.
This first one is from Rung Smash.
Our captain and his escort enter the free zone, followed by a stream of cage-free mines. Meanwhile, a lone warrior slinks through a replacement factory, the robot arms gliding past him on tracks, completely oblivious to the man in the canary suit. Another mysterious hero stalking the technocratic dystopia of Runk Smash microfiction land. Thank you very much, Runk Smash.
Thank you, Runk Smash. And I believe this is another one from Stefan S.
Mm-hmm. Duke. We have an urgent requirement for a team member with your skills in Project Doubtfire, our counter-operation against disinformation on the internet. What do you need, Chief? How you at babysitting toddlers and children. Operation Doubtfire. That would have been a great name for the Canary Cry Babysitters Club.
Yeah, Operation Doubtfire. All right, well.
You got to look for a Doubtfire to nanny your children while we do the show.
It's hard to find men in old women's outfit really good at taking care of people.
It didn't work out too well for the last one, so I can see how that's not an attractive business model.
Yeah, not into the cross-dressing baby treaters, but yeah.
Thank you very much, Stefan S. Rung Smashin'. All of our artists, and if you're a creative person, you want to create something for the show, be a producer with your talent, you can upload your art, create something for the show, and go to canarycry.art. Canarycry.art, where you can upload it to us. If you have a article you'd like us to take a look at for the show, you can go to canarycry.report. And, of course, as always, you can go to canarycry.support to learn more.
Yes, sir. All right, we got one more story here.
We're taking things that are genetically modified organisms and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein, right into the vein, right into
climate change. The super painful.
I remember now. I see Caleb in the chat. Before we get into the story here, Caleb in the chat says it was Gonza's tweet yesterday about how people who miss the 3-hour show are missing the meat. That's right. I posted a 1 minute your rundown as like a 1 minute video to summarize the episode, and I said, here's for people who complain the show's too long, the whole show what we covered in under 1 minute, and you're ranting on that thing, and I say, but you miss a lot of meat. You're actually missing the meat of the analysis and all that stuff. And so Caleb ran with that, and that makes more sense. Thank you, Caleb.
Yeah, we got the meat. Thank you very much.
There you go. Okay. Bill Gates. Let's learn a little bit about Bill Gates. This headline, I don't know if they're hanging out with Daily Mail or I don't know what's going on, but luxurylaunches.com. Headline, Bill Gates' high-tech $130 million lakefront mansion, Xanadu 2.0, was actually designed using Macintosh computers.
Burn.
Spread across 66,000 square feet.
Of course.
The Microsoft founder's Washington home has 7 bedrooms, 24 bathrooms, like 24 elders, 6 kitchens, and 2 hidden bookshelves and a secret bar.
First of all, too many kitchens. Second of all, not enough hidden bookshelves. You'd think you would put
public.
I mean, you got to put in more secret passageways if you're getting a house 66,000 square feet. Bill Gates, what, you don't think you have anything to hide? You're going to need more hidden bookshelves.
A secret bar, too. Is that just for Bill? Like, I'm going to my secret bar.
His secret day drinking. Who is he hiding from? He's not married anymore.
He has a new girlfriend.
That is true.
It's
Forget about that.
The widow of the former CEO of Oracle, I believe. Yep, tech people running around with each other. The intense rivalry between Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, the founder of Apple and Microsoft, respectively, is legendary. After all, it set up the foundation upon which the modern tech world was built. The love-hate relationship between the two mega personalities spanned over 30-plus years, transitioning from that of cautious collaborators to bitter rivals to eventually becoming friends with great mutual respect for each other. During their peak of their feud in the 1990s, things got so brutal that both often resorted to publicly insulting each other, with the jibes mostly being personal in nature. Fighting to establish dominance in the industry, both Jobs and Gates were overly critical of each other and their work during that era. However, there were rumors that did rounds in the late 90s suggesting the Microsoft founder's $130 million lakefront property was designed on Macs instead of Windows-powered PCs, which was seen as a major embarrassment for Gates. And they have these floor plans that look like schematics. Then it says here, Blueprinting the Perfect Embarrassment. According to an article published by Arkintosh back in 1999, 3 sixes backwards, the rumor was believed to be started up by a UPS driver who delivered items to the architectural firm that designed Gates's gargantuan Washington mansion, Xanadu 2.0, named after the fictional home of Charles Foster Kane, the title character of Citizen Kane. The 66,000 square foot property was designed by James Cutler Architects, along with the award-winning architectural firm Bolhun Sywinski Jackson, BCJ. Back in those days, BCJ was well known for using only Macintosh computers in their offices across the U.S.
Ooh.
Yeah. According to a report, the company's Macintosh CAD systems were established in the 1980s and had quickly become one of the largest MicroStation Mac users. And by the way, I might have gotten rid of the resource here. Maybe I can pull it up real quick. But I did see yesterday as I was putting some of this together that the Xanadu name there comes from, there's like a Chinese tie.
Wasn't Xanadu made up by the band ABBA?
Maybe.
Hold on. I'm pretty sure Xanadu was invented by ABBA. It's a fictional place, I think. But also, I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's see here.
Oh, here's one. The truth about the legendary city of
Xanadu.
Xanadu. Oh, you Xanadu. No, this is Xanadu. The legendary city of Xanadu. The Citizen Kane reference. Where's the Chinese thing? There's some Chinese thing. Okay. Perhaps the most common of all those, the idea that Xanadu as a mysterious Eden, a lavish, exotic city in the Far East, according to Britannica, and that would actually be closer to the truth, or at least may have been a version of the truth, some 800 years ago. The real Xanadu, the legendary capital of Mongol ruler Kublai Khan, the grandson of the incomparable conqueror Genghis Khan, was located north of the Great Wall in Inner Mongolia in northeast China via UNESCO. So, yeah, I mean, he's basically like, the greatest Chinese fortress ever created. I want that 2.0. That's
imaginary.
Bill Gates.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
That's sorry. I'm just now on the Wikipedia for Xanadu now, and my brain is exploding.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Newton John. Newton-John.ABBA. I'm not seeing ABBA anywhere.
Well, there was a show or something in I think it was like the 70s. I forget what it was. It's on that Wikipedia page, I believe, that referenced Xanadu as sort of a dreamscape, like a dream, I don't know, utopia or something.
Right.
Utopic city.
Yeah.
And it's got reference to, Marco Polo and all that kind of stuff. All right, so it goes into all the little details here about the computers and blah, blah, blah. And then it says this here. Unfounded rumor, difficult to digest facts. Was Gates' dream abode that overlooks Lake Washington in Medina, Washington, actually designed using Macintosh computers? Well, the architects working with Bolhun Sywinski Jackson back then claimed that the mega project was almost entirely drawn by hand, which was not an unusual thing to do in those days. Just about each and every part of the extremely complex design was drawn on sheets using traditional methods. However, the garage section of the mansion was apparently modeled in Model Shop by the BCJ architects working on the project. And that means basically that part of the house or whatever was actually done by Mac computers. Xanadu 2.0, an architectural marvel and a technological masterpiece.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a technological masterpiece. Now get with this, Basil. Bill Gates' massive mansion in Medina overlooking Lake Washington. They keep saying that over and over again. I don't know why. They just keep telling us that it's this huge house at Lake Washington. Is considered one of the most expensive houses in the world. While it is currently believed to be worth $130 million, the billionaire was charged a whopping $1 million in property tax back in 2009 with a total assessed value of $147.5 million. The luxurious house was constructed at a cost of $63 million and took 7 years to build with the help of over 300 construction workers. More than 500,000 wood logs were used in the construction, along with 7 different types of stones.
Oh, so many kinds of stones.
For a guy who's part of the whole climate thing and all that, 500,000 wood logs.
Yeah, it's a decent sized little forest.
You're taking out a good chunk of the climate ecosystem with that. The original parcel of land on which the mansion is built was purchased by Gates in 1988 for $2 million. He spent another $14 million to acquire more adjoining real estate to ensure ample privacy. The Pacific Lodge-themed house is not only an architectural marvel, but also a technology masterpiece. One of the highlights is a high-tech system that controls the climate and lighting inside the rooms, which are monitored by an array of sensors.
It's like a space station.
So Bill Gates' house is basically, it's a full-blown surveillance data gathering. It's like his dream surveillance apparatus. It controls the climate. It controls the lighting.
It monitors everything. You crazy? Well, once the world burns from climate change, he's going to be quite comfortable.
He can control. Look, he's completely, as much as the climate issue is real, not real, whatever, he is protected. He's got his own climate-controlled living situation.
Who could imagine such a thing?
Furthermore, guests are given a pin-like device that captures their personal preferences, including preferred temperature, lighting, and even choice of music. Several of the walls inside the mansion are outfitted with special screens displaying photos, paintings, and even high-end art. There's a 40-year-old maple tree that is consistently monitored by a computer. It is automatically watered when the computer senses the tree has become too dry. Most of the basic functions inside the mansion are also done autonomously. It's safe to call Gates' mansion the smartest house on the planet.
Well, when you've got as many secrets as Bill Gates, you want to reduce the opportunities to tick off staff.
Yes.
Notoriously, Bill Gates is like a really cruel person to his staff, and not to mention, inappropriate with his female employees. I could see how you'd want to build a house that didn't require so many other human beings just to keep it alive. And there you go. It's really a legal liability. It's his way of not getting canceled or sued in the future, have his fine legend besmirched by all the stories of his staff members, leaking his crazy parties and I don't know, losing his temper and doing inappropriate things to other human beings. He's really living the dream of solitude, loneliness, with nothing but a computer sensor to hear you cry at night.
I beg to differ. According to the article, the property has several garages used by Gates to store his car collection. The most notable of them is the underground garage, which can accommodate up to 10 cars and is constructed out of concrete and stainless steel. The massive 2,100 square foot personal library includes a 16th century Leonardo da Vinci manuscript worth $30.8 million.
What?
What does he need?
Yeah, you just lose your mind. You lose your mind at that point.
Other luxury amenities include a steam room, sauna, and a 25,000 square foot gym. He's clearly not using any square feet of that 25,000 square feet. It's there.
That gym has some other purpose, because it certainly is not for working out.
However, one of the most outrageous facts linked to Xanadu 2.0 is that fresh sand is delivered by a barge from St. Lucia each year on the lakefront shore. St. Lucia? Like Lucifer? Lucifer's sand is delivered to his house?
Gotta get fresh sand. What is happening to the sand that he gets delivered? Is the sand... What is he doing to the sand to require more sand every year?
Fresh sand from St. Lucia. I don't know. There's got to be some occult thing. Maybe he runs his whole operation.
Maybe he eats it. He's just hungry, so he's out on the beach and he just eats sand. It's like his.
It's the best sand.
It's his thing. These rich people, they eat weird stuff. They got to have your duck fetuses from the East. You got to have your human flesh from your Illuminati parties. And Bill Gates, his guilty pleasure, just munching down on some sand. He eats so much. He needs more delivered every year.
Despite all of this, the billionaire's ex-wife, Melinda, never thought of Xanadu 2.0 as her forever home. What a shame.
What a shame.
What a
because
shame.
she probably knows the dark secrets going on inside.
Yeah, probably.
She was sort of notoriously uncomfortable with a lot of Bill Gates's private life. I'm sure she knows the ins and outs of these secret bookcases holding the jars of sand that he munches on every night, all night.
Maybe he sniffs them.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. We're going to be back. We're still leveling out the schedule here. We appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate the producers keeping this show alive. Consider joining the Canary Cry Babysitters Club. We could really use the assistance. All you're doing is you're committing to help pay for an hour of babysitting for Gonza's children every month. And for that, you'll get the Canary Cry News Talk t-shirt, which will disappear soon. If you've been hoping to get your hands on it, now is the time to do it. It will not be available forever. And also, you can join the Canary Cry T-shirt Council if you'd like to be involved in the decision-making process, or join the Canary Cry Supply Drop and get the awesome supply drop delivered straight to your door once every quarter. This year, it will be including, amongst other things, DVD copies of the Age of Deceit films 1, 2, and 3, just in time for Age of Deceit 4 next year. And thank you so much to our monthly producers. One more again. It's our monthly producers in days like this that make it so we don't soil our pants while we do the show. We appreciate that very much. But we got producers who help out in all sorts of ways. Your time, your talent, or your treasure. Here's some producers who give of their time and their skills. I'm going to start with the Clippies.
Clippy on those videos. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Clippies. They're keeping the Canary Cry Clips channel a thing. Go to YouTube or Odyssey, search for Canary Cry Clips, and keep an eye out, keep an ear out for more clips coming your way. Thank you, Clippies. And thank you to the Timestampers.
Timestamp, it's hard work. Timestamp.
That's right, Timestampers. They timestamp the show. It goes into so much of our back-end processes. And thank you to Jade Bouncerson for doing the timestamps for episode 647.
Oop.
Oh.
Did I lose you?
And sorry. Sorry, my brain just farted. Thank you to Jam for the links. Did you have anybody else who sent in links you'd like to appreciate?
Links. Let me double check on that. I believe
we
got links from... I think there has not been. Oh no, there has. Let's see. Yeah, nothing new. I think Nancy
got some new links. Yeah, Nancy and Sarai. Okay, thank you very much, Nancy. Remember, don't email us articles. It just gets lost and it doesn't work. So go to canarycry.report. Send us your links there. Thank you to Clank for the assistance. Clank's doing good work over there. And other than that, share the show, folks. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. Share it with your dog's family. But you don't have to share it in any normal sort of way. You're an eccentric billionaire. We know this. And you want to share the show in a way that is new, fun, and exciting. So one thing you can do to share the show is build Xanadu 3.0. Ooh, wouldn't that just steam Bill Gates? Oh, yes. Go out there, build Xanadu 3.0. It's 66,600 square feet bigger, plus the occult power that will flow through the dark corridors of your lonely palace. But don't forget the sand. Make sure the delicious sand flowing in from some island somewhere that has very delicious sand. But once you're there, remember to program the artificial intelligence that is keeping you hostage in the prison that you've built around yourself. Make sure that artificial intelligence has plenty of access to the internet, so when you're lonely and you're staring off into the fireplace, questioning every decision that has brought you to this cold, lonely, loveless life, that the AI can play you just a little bit of Canary Cry News Talk so you can feel alive again for the very first time. That's just one way to share the show. You got to do it that way. You can do it any way you want. We call it rattling cages, and all you got to do is walk right up to him, grab him by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right, just ask Noah. Gons, any last words?
St. Lucia. Named after St. Lucy of Syracuse, St. Lucia and Ireland are the only two sovereign states in the world named after a woman. Ireland named after the Celtic goddess of fertility, and St. Lucia is the only one named after a human woman. And what did I learn? Catholicism, St. Lucia's story is that she was a young Christian girl who had married a wealthy pagan arranged by her mother. St. Lucia decided to give a large portion of her dowry to the poor. Her fiance heard about this and was outraged and reported her to the governor of Syracuse, who ordered that she burn a sacrifice to the image of the emperor as retribution. When St. Lucia refused, she was burned at the stake, but the wood refused to burn. She was tortured and had her eyes removed from her head. The most iconography has her either holding her eyes or her eyes on a plate before she was finally killed by a sword. She was accurately prophesied the death of both the governor in Syracuse and the emperor. So there you go. There's your St. Lucia American folk magic sand that Bill Gates wants to sniff and eat. And
he is definitely eating that sand, munching on that sand all night long. It makes nothing but sense.
Wow, and it is an island in the Caribbean. So there you go.
Everybody, make sure to. There's got to be some laws about bringing sand that far. Make sure to retweet the Malaya poster.
Yes.
Get the word out as much as you possibly can. If you know anybody in Washington, send it to them. You can find it on our Twitter. Please do that. Okay. Thanks for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Bye!
Armageddon's on the way.
We noticed recently President Trump went up in the polls and was actually surpassing President Biden for re-election. So what do they do now? Weaponize government. Go after their number one opponent. It's time and time again. I think the American public is tired of this. They want to see equal justice, and the idea that they utilize this to go after those who politically disagree with them, well.
When the news of the day gets to feeling like a maze, it's okay, don't be afraid if you don't know what to say. Canary, cry awaits. When your brain's in a haze and a headline days, come on, ahead my way, I can help you out the cage. Canary, cry awaits. Canary, cry awaits. Oh, canary. Changing every day, each and every way you turn, there's another thing to learn. Reading in between the lines, thanking Jesus for our lives, and nice to see His glory shining like the sun. Run the race until it's done. Come on, everyone. Cry ways. Oh, canary, cry ways. When your brain's in a haze and the headline days, come on, ahead my way, I can help you out the cage. Canary, cry away.
This is the way.
He's got the solutions for the problems that he created. So step right up for the great reset. For the great reset. Hiding in the shadows, he's always behind the scenes. He's pulling on the purse strings. He's got control of everything. He's got the solutions to the problems that he created. So step right up for the great reset. For the great reset. He serves his master with fervor. He's a Luciferian. He's bound up and determined to bring us to an end. It's the final solution. Destroy the human race. So walk right up to the great reset. To the great reset. The great reset. There's only one way out through the door, but you'll need the code. 10, 5, 19, 21, 19. Or you can step right up for the great reset. For the great reset. For the great reset. For the great reset.
Bye. I'm out of here. Bye.
Canary cry, that's support.